Judge here, Hydra Fitness Exchange. We want to go over the top 5 things to consider when purchasing a treadmill. We hope this will help you out in clearing the mess out there. There's a lot of information on the internet, and we're going to go ahead and hopefully declutter it. The first thing you want to consider is new versus used, and it really comes down to your budget. You got to understand the difference between value and budget, right? If you buy a Nordictrack 2250 and it's a deep discount, it still might cost $1,500, $2,000. That's a lot of money. But if it was originally $3,000, that's a good value for the money. However, if your budget is say $500, well, even the discount can come down even further and you wouldn't be able to afford it. So you have to understand the difference between value and budget. So what is your budget? Now there are ways, retailers, we're with a firm. There are ways to, extend the budget a little bit. If your credit is okay, you can actually finance all or some of the portion of the treadmill, and that will get you a better machine. And you do get what you pay for. If you have a low amount of money to invest, then you might want to consider going the used route, because you'll get a lot more. The downside with used is you don't have any warranty, and you got to go into someone's basement, unless there's a retailer in your area like us. Fitness Warehouse Deals is our brand, and we carry a lot of premium used fitness equipment at deep discounts because it is pre-owned. In our case, we've experienced very little issues with our fitness equipment we sold, because we do stick with the good name brands and models. But if you buy a $400 treadmill on Amazon, do not expect much from it if you end up using it at all. The next thing you want to consider is what space you're putting the treadmill in. Where do you live? Do you live in a condo, apartment, or is it a house? What's your ceiling height like? If you're in a house and it's an older home, the ceiling heights weren't all that much. And what's popular nowadays is all these incline trainers, which can potentially put you higher than a conventional treadmill. So you definitely want to make sure you have the vertical space to use the full range of the machine. If you're in an apartment or condo, you might even want to consider switching it up to a low impact cardio piece, because we hear a lot of people wanting to return something, or it's just not working out for them because the noise the impact makes. Neighbors complain. It's just kind of a bad situation. Also, sometimes you have to use it when your neighbors aren't around, or certain times of the day. The whole reason why you're buying a machine is so you have the liberty to choose when you work out. If it's 3 a.m., then that's when you're working out. I mean, it really is a problem in the apartments and condos and such. The next thing is, who's going to be using it? Is it just you? Is it a family of 4? What are you all doing on it? Say, for instance, you're in your 60s and you just want to walk at 3 miles per hour. Well, do you necessarily need to go and buy an incline trainer X32i? Probably not. So you want to consider how you're going to use it. If it's just walking at 3 miles an hour, you want to just get something a little bit more basic that will accommodate those needs. I will say, when you are a walker like that, a lot of people think that, I'm just walking and it's not hard on the treadmill. And a lot of times in the resale side, we'll hear that, and I'm like, well, what kind of maintenance did you do? And the reason why I mention that is, with walking, it's harder on the motor of the machine and controller and stuff like that, because you are coming down, you are striking that surface a lot more frequently than you are a runner. When you're a runner, the belt and deck take a pounding, because you're coming down with a lot more force on the frame and deck and all of that. If you are a runner, you don't want to get a walking machine that has a short running surface. You want to get something that's longer, that has better material in the frame, thicker material. And honestly, you could just go and try machines out. It's getting harder these days because the consumer has gone to just buying things online. So everyone's scaling back on what they have in inventory to try. And that's where specialty retailers come into play. You know, and it's a dying breed, it sucks, but if you can find a specialty retailer in your area, you know, and you're a runner, you definitely want to go and run on these things and test them out before you get them, because they do feel a little bit different between one another. You know, you're gonna see a trampoline feel on one might be too stiff, and that's where going to that specialty retailer comes in handy. We tried going to Dick's a couple months ago, and it was couldn't find anyone to get the safety key, which is removed from the machine, and you know, it didn't feel like it was a good setup for trying something, you know, live in person. So again, you know, they're rely on Reddit a little bit. Try to get into the subreddit Treadmills and, you know, put a post out there, or find a post where, you know, you find someone that's similar in nature to you and how you're going to use the machine, and figure out what their course of action was and where they went wrong or right or whatnot, and, you know, look at the threads there. That's a huge thing, because we all know that there's reviews online, but it's fake. I mean, let's just be honest. There's so many, you know, filtered out reviews where the bad ones don't get in, and people give product away for 5-star reviews, so that it's kind of that Reddit is a really good lead on finding out what the real deal is out there on that. The next one to consider is, you know, what your goals are, and this kind of ties into the electronics aspect. Because we're on the parts business, we have a strong opinion on trying to keep it simple, because with all the software that's out there related to like Hulu and all the big displays up to 22, you know, whatever, they're getting bigger every year. There's a lot of problems with the electronics, and the electronics are sucking away capital resources for these manufacturers from the actual treadmill. So people are really buying, you know, a fancy TV that just so happens to be on a treadmill versus a treadmill that just so happens to have good electronics on it. So that kind of sucks, because, you know, we get it. A lot of people want to be distracted by virtual reality training and trainer apps, which do work. It's proven to work, but it also introduces more problems. So you got to kind of weigh that out. You know, I feel like Peloton did a pretty good job with, you know, creating a reliable product for the bike. I don't know how much with the treadmill, but, you know, a lot of people are liking the results they're getting from getting pushed and being in a competitive environment in a virtual setting. So we get it. It's just that from our end, we see a lot of problems with it, and it varies quite a bit. It really does all come down to heart rate training. We have other videos we can point to that shows you heart rate training and why it's important. Zone training, even when you're doing interval training, you can kind of find those high lines and low lines, you know, for your intervals using heart rate, and that's important. So consider your goals and how you're going to be using this thing, because that affects your decision. All right, the last one we'll cover is, you know, how are you going to get this thing in your home? Upstairs, downstairs, elevators, wherever this thing's going, it has to get in your home and built. You'll need a pickup truck to pick it up, and you'll need 2 or 3 strong backs to carry it in. I'd say that's the least popular option, is doing it yourself. A lot of credible retailers, including us, will be partnered with bonded and insured installation providers, and that's usually the best way to go. However, I would say, you know, watch them when they're doing it. I know they might get annoyed and stuff like that, but look for, you know, when they're routing the cables from the base to the console, that they're not pinching things and causing more problems. I mean, if you watch enough delivery crews, you will, or installation crews, you will see them force bolts, strip things, pinch cables. And we have it happen all the time where we send out a machine that's completely mint, and then the customer's calling us saying, you sold me a piece of crap and it doesn't work. Well, and then we send a tech out and yeah, they sheared a data cable or something like that. So it's really good. It's a really good thing to get it done so you don't damage your house, damage your back, or whatever. So that's all we got for you today. If you found this helpful, click like and subscribe. Really helps the channel, and we'll see you again. All right, one last thing I forgot to mention. For the month of June, we are doing a product giveaway. We're gonna give away one maintenance kit to one of our subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time.